Hello, everybody, and welcome to this stream. Leicester Tigers versus the Stormers. It is the Champions Cup, something that my own team decided that they were going to miss out on. But good game coming up in about what we got about 7 minutes. We're going to get through the lineups and get straight into the game. It is the first meeting of these two sides, mostly because of the South African teams joining the European competitions. It's going to be a cracker looking at the teams. Quickly go through them now. And starting with Leicester, we got Francois van Veek, Julian Montoya, and Dan Cole, who must be about 95 at this point. In the front row, we got Ollie Chessum and Cameron Henderson, and the lock pairing. Hanro Liebenberg, Tommy Reffel, and probably one to watch in this game, considering it's English team versus South African team, is Jasper Wiese is starting at 8 for Leicester. So that'll be certainly an interesting point to watch. And then at number 9, we've got Ben Youngs, also pedaling around on a Zim frame at this point. And then you got Andre Pollard, also the South African. So there's there could be a couple of big matchups here. I'm certainly looking forward to South Africa's first and second choice fly half having a go at each other in this game in Pollard and Libbok. Then moving into the rest of the back line, Ollie Hassel-Collins has been good since he's been really good for Leicester since he was forced to make the move from London Irish. Solomone Kata, Matt Scott, Josh Bassett, and Big Freddie Stewart at fullback. And then on the bench, we've got Archie Vaines, James Cronin, Joe Hayes, another England international, Harry Wells, Kyle Hatherell, Tom Whiteley, who, interestingly enough, is actually my cousin, and Jamie Shilcock, with Dan Kelly wearing the number 23 jersey. Then if we go on to the Stormers, the travelling side, we've got Sithole Ntubeni and Brock Harris. Brock Harris, I think this is now like it's a 205th appearance or something. 200 or yeah, I think it's 200. And he is captaining the side today. We've got Hendry Stassen and Connor Evans as the lock pairing for the Stormers, with Namatraba, Willie Engelbrecht, and Keketso Morabe as the back three. So it'll be an interesting battle between Morabe and Wiese. Paul de Vet and Jury. Oh, okay. I thought so Libbok's not even playing. Interesting. Oh, that's a sad one. I was looking forward to the two South African fly-halves going against each other. So Paul de Vet will be playing at number 9 with Jury Mathy at 10. Ben Loader, again the other winger for London Irish who had to leave when they capitulated. So he'll be playing against. Actually, are they on the same wings? That'll be interesting. No, so they're both playing 11, so they won't be up against each other. Jean-Luc Duplessis at 12, Suleiman Hartzenberg at 13, Courtnall Scossan at 14, and Clayton Blommakeys at 15. Then for the substitutes, you got JJ Kotza, Quenzo Blos, Lee Marvin Mazabuko, Dylan Shablom. I'm guessing Shablom. Junior Pocomela, Marcel Tinnison. It's interesting he's on the bench. I thought he's had a pretty good URC for a rather stuttering Stormers side. Stefan Unger and Cornell Smith see out the rest of that Stormers side. So I'd say for the interesting matchups here, personally for me, will be Jasper Wiese and Morabe, as well as Clayton Blommakeys and Freddie Stewart. Definitely totally different kinds of fullbacks, so that'll be an interesting matchup there. But big backline here for Leicester, with the likes of Hassel-Collins, not small, Solomon Kata, fairly big guy, Josh Bassett's big, and Freddie Stewart is 105 kgs or whatever he is. So it's certainly an interesting lineup for both teams. But when we look at the current team, the form of the team in recent times, Stormers have been struggling. They have righted, or they have started to gather their ship, after suffering 4 straight losses in the URC to Glasgow, Benetton, Munster, and then Cardiff. But they have semi-righted the ship after pulling off a decent win against Zebre. But Leicester have had they're on a 3-game winning streak at the moment, having beaten Northampton, Gloucester, and Newcastle. They narrowly lost to Harlequins before that, and then were probably fairly well beaten by Saracens before that. So there's a 3-game winning streak for Leicester, 1-game winning streak for the Stormers. So they've never played each other. This is the first game they've ever played against each other, which is certainly setting it up to be a mouth-watering clash. And we're just going to try and get the stream up at the moment. It hasn't loaded just yet, and they tend to load as the game is starting, if not 2 minutes after. So quickly, while we're waiting, chuck in the chat. Who do you reckon is going to take this one? Do let me know. Also, let me know. Let me just get rid of that. Let me know if you have any, questions of what you think the big matchups of this game is, like Jasper Visa versus what was it, Morabe? Who was number 8? I think it's Morabe. Let me have a quick look here. Teams. I keep forgetting. Oh my god, and my laptop's being slow. It is Morabe. I tell you what, I'm quite a fan of this number 6 for the Stormers, Kaba. I think he's quite good. He's a decent player and he's very abrasive. So I'm looking forward to seeing him play as well. But we're certainly set for a pretty interesting matchup in this game, that's for sure. And certainly looking forward to it. I'd say the collective age of Leicester is far higher than that of the Stormers, and certainly not helped in that stat by both Dan Cole and Ben Youngs. Julian Montoya is getting on there as well. But it's a very good side. Their back 3 with Lieberberg, Reffel, and Visa are class. So Stormers are certainly going to have their hands full in that area. Let me know where you're watching from as well. I am quite keen to interact with you guys. Just give me a shout. Let me know where you're watching from and your predictions and players of the game. Who you think will be the players that decide this match. I personally am watching from Edinburgh in what is a rather rainy and dark city, with the nights basically starting from about 3:30 in the afternoon. Hopefully it's a bit brighter down south for this game. Still trying to get the link up. While we wait, guys, don't forget to check out our sponsors, and big thanks to them for allowing us, for helping us to bring you all of this amazing rugby content throughout the day. Both in BitDefender, your internet security, and Yuri M is from Pretoria. Nice. And then also BOYLESPORTS. Check them out and get some bets in. You never know what you might win or how much. And I know they are doing some promotional stuff during December as we go into the holiday season. More holiday season for South Africa rather than the UK. Thoroughly stuck in the middle of winter out here. It's wet, it's cold, it's rainy, and windy. So stream should be up now. So let's get to the game. The teams are already on the field, and we are just preparing to kick off now. So let's get underway. Really, really excited for this clash. Hello, guys. Hello. Welcome to the chat. 33 of you. Welcome, welcome. Really interesting game now. Stormers in the black kit, black and white, I'd say, and Leicester in their, I believe, green. It looked green to me. Yep, in their green. And close up of Josh Bassett here. But Leicester do have a fairly sizable team. They are not small. Watching from South Africa, Joburg. Fair enough. Mafloganolo? God, It's been so long since I had to pronounce any South African names. All right, so Stormers kick off, and Ollie Chesson rises high to take it, hands it off to Jasper Visa, who's immediately into the action, handing off one and slipping another tackle before being brought down. Ben Youngs will look to clear off a box kick and does so. Takes play up to the Stormers 10, where Matthew takes the ball down. He evades one tackler. I don't know if it's Matthew or Mattia. Not sure. It's probably Mattia because it's South Africa. So this is Clayton Blommakeys decides to stab a very low kick through, bouncing between the players to Freddie Stewart. Freddie Stewart launches one back into the 22, but Blommakeys decides he's not going to take the mark or a kick, and is then ceremoniously smashed by Solomone Kata, the Big 12 for Leicester. Check all the score predictions in the chat, guys. We'll get to them as we go. I will be interacting with you guys and any questions you have. Stormers clear, straight to Freddie Stewart, who's always solid under the high ball. And they do get up over halfway. But there is a knock-on as the player goes to ground, and it will be Stormers to get their first scrum of the match. The Leicester will be disappointed with that. They were doing well there. From South Africa, let me know what alcoholic beverage you're enjoying during this game. Let me know if it's a Castle Light or a bit of Black Label, a bit of Zamalek. Okay, so Stormers have the put into the scrum. I suppose that Leicester, for once, have a player in their front row who matches the age of someone else, or rather, they're playing against someone who matches Dan Cole's age in Brock Harris. I think they're about the same age. So the ball is fed in, but it bounces straight back into the center of the scrum as it's come off the foot. And now it's just going to be a straight shove to see who can get the ball back. Stormers do eventually get the job done and actually win the penalty. And Brock, that'll be that's a good start there for the Stormers and Brock Harris. There's Ben Loader, very massive scrum. Mimania. I do like this Leicester kit, I'm not gonna lie. Not always been a fan of Leicester's kit, but this one is nice. So 3 minutes in, Stormers have a line out just outside of the Leicester 22. And there's Scarrett Ntibeni, who has somehow looked about 40 years old from when he started playing 15 years ago. But he's a good player, Scarrett. He's been around for a while now. 32 years. Feels like he's been around for just decades now. Solomone Kata out the back to 13, I think it's. Oh, and Hassel Collins is loose on the outside. He stabs it through, and the ball is staying in. So Ben Loader has to track back, and that is tackled by his opposite man, both former London Irish players. Stormers are now under pressure, but they have got the ball on their 5-meter line. Who's playing 13? It's Scott. It's Matt Scott playing 13 for Leicester. He was the one who fed Hassel Collins for his run down that left-hand side of the pitch. Stormers do clear, and it'll be a line out, I think, on about their own 10-meter line. So not a bad clearance, but a great steal from Ollie Chesson at that line out. And a good little shift there from Ollie Hassel Collins. Ball did very well to keep that ball in field off that kick. Yeah, line out woes. Stormers have been suffering with that troubled lineouts recently. In fact, I think quite a few of the South African sides have. Although the Sharks did get it right yesterday against Poe. And they bloody well should. They've got one of the tallest players. Yeah, it's bad. All right, so Leicester set a maul here, and they are just outside the Stormers 22. The maul is not really moving forwards currently, so Ben Youngs is forced to take it out. He feeds Solomone Kata, who goes straight into contact. Jasper Visa there to protect him. Ben Youngs again, feeding his forwards. They're trundling around the corner each time. And there's a penalty there, and I imagine this will be a first opportunity for points and you'd imagine that Andre Pollard will have no issue slotting this over, and it is Namataba who gives away the penalty there for just straight off his feet. And I didn't know that he was captained at SA under 20 level. Ah. Sorry, not captained, capped. Yeah, straight off his feet. Really, really not the greatest attempted turnover there from Namataba. But this looks like, I mean, it's Pollard. It certainly should be 3 points to 0. Let's have a look. I just need to remind myself who's playing. So Henderson is partnering Chesham. Mm. And Andre Pollard is on 84% for this season. And simple as you like, Andre Pollard puts the Leicester Tigers 3 points in the good. And first points of the game comes on the stroke of 6 minutes. 50 of you in here at the moment. Welcome, guys. You're all very welcome, and we will have all the action from this game and tons of other rugby going on that's been going on throughout the day, and still a few games to come. So do drop a like and a subscribe. Leicester are inside their 22 off that kickoff, looking to set a platform through Montoya, and I bet you Ben Youngs will be either going for a box kick. Yep, they're doing the caterpillar, which is honestly a part of rugby I really don't like. And Ben Youngs clears, hasn't got it out, and it's I don't know. I'm going to say Matthew because it's easier to say. Mattia, I don't know. Who takes it in? Stormers on halfway with ball and with possession. Namatraba. He's a tall guy, Namatraba. Good drive from Morabe. Who's playing 9 for the Stormers again? It's Paul DeVet. Paul DeVet is setting the ball at the back of this ruck. He passes to Matthew, who launches a kick downfield. It's gone straight to Pollard in his 22 and hits a simple mark for Pollard. And he will then look to get it out of the danger area. Almost 8 minutes gone now, and brilliant kick there from Andre Pollard, as they're showing here. Double World Cup winner, scored all the points in the World Cup final against New Zealand, and is the reason that South Africa got to the final in the first place for his heroics against France and then England as well. Stormers throw to the back of the line out. They do win this one, and Matthew launches a high bomb for his backs to chase. And it's been knocked back, but it's been knocked forward by Leicester, so it'll be a scrum midfield to the Stormers. Now, I'm going to pull up the team sheets here. Solomone Hartzenberg, that's who I was trying to remember. The 13 playing for Stormers. Freddie Stewart just not being able to take that under the contest of Hartzenberg. I like this Leicester kit. It's nice. I'm not a fan of this Stormers kit, but I do like their blue and white kit. Very different kinds of sides, these two teams. Stormers certainly not playing fantastically at the moment. Their current run of form has not been great, losing a few games that they should have won, and they're just not showing up at others. DeVet feeds Matthew out the back to Hartzenberg, tracks sideways and then is caught, and not releasing from Scott. Scott? Yeah, Scott's the number 13 for Leicester, isn't he? Yes, Matt Scott. So it's a penalty to the Stormers. Potentially a kickable position. Yeah, Matt Scott never released there. Very good call from the referee there. If he'd released and managed to get back onto the ball, It would have been a perfectly legal turnover because he was very strong in that, but it didn't let go. Stormers decide to not go for the points, and they go long instead. Matt Scott, a 40-time capped Scottish player. If you hadn't noticed by his last name, um, but he hasn't been capped for a good 2 years now. So I think potentially his international career might be over. And just if any of you are actually watching the game, Bobby Skinstad is the commentator for one of the commentators for the match, former Hilton boy. And he's appeared on the channel a couple of times talking to old Stevie P. They seem to be best buds, those two, which is really good. The channel and the brand. Dan McKellar, head coach of Leicester, obviously because Borthwick got pinched by the RFU to go and coach England. All right. Don't know why that says match statistics says half time, 3-0, but it's not half time. So Stormers go to the front of the line out. They have not held their player up, although Leicester have been penalised for bringing the man down. I'm not so sure about that. But I'm just going to get the scoreboard changed. Okay, so yes, it was. It was Ollie Chestermu who managed to grab a hand at the front of that line out and pull the man down. And I think now with the field position, Stormers probably look to go for poles here. Yep, Stormers are looking to level the scores here. And it is Jury Mathy, or to Mattia. There we go. Time is back on. And it is a good kick. It does have a little bit of swing on it, but it does maintain its path. And Stormers draw level. 3 points, plays 3. And don't forget, this fly-off's on debut, playing Leicester away. That's a big call from John Dobson there. Leicester take the restart fairly quickly, actually, and kick all the way into the 22. Bassett's chased well, although he's been shrugged off by DeVet. No, it wasn't DeVet. I keep forgetting who's playing the centre. Jean-Luc Duplessis. I believe the timer and everything is behind. DeVet clears for the Stormers and brings play up to the Stormers' 10-meter line. We're about a minute. The stream is about a minute ahead of the stream here. Oh, no, that's YouTube. That's fine. Right, so Leicester with an attacking line out on the 10-meter. Youngs has it, feeds into Pollard. Pollard with a kick over the top, and it's really good. Scott gathers. So Leicester retain possession, riffles over that one. Ben Youngs tries a box kick over the top, and Matthew is right there to mark it. Oh, and there's trouble here for the Stormers. Vispa with a charge down, and that was poor from the Stormers. It was unnecessary to put themselves under that pressure, and it'll be a 5-meter scrum to Leicester, and it's Jean-Luc Duplessis who was put in all kinds of trouble by DeVet, who creates the pressure on his own player. And great reaction time there from Jasper Visa to get up in his face and to charge that down. Really good little kicks here from Andre Pollard. Scott and Reffel chasing. Scott gathers it. And Leicester will definitely look to get a try from this visit. So Ben Youngs will feed the scrum. Ball is in. Ball is at the back, and it looks like Jasper Wiese will pick it up. He does. Jasper Wiese feeds Solomone Kata, who is straight through the Stormers' defensive line and practically under the sticks for the first try of the game. And Miminia, yeah, exactly. What the hell did Paul do? He put Stormers. That's pretty much his fault, that try, because that was just horrendous what he did there off the mark. And Solomon Kata just straight through between two players, easy as you like. Jasper Wiese being marked heavily. And Andre Pollard will definitely make this a 7-point ball game. Shot right in front of the poles. And 15 minutes in, 10 plays 3. Leicester flexing their muscles a bit here. And certainly I think Leicester have opted for their bigger centre pairing for this match. And probably a good idea. Stormers go very deep off the kickoff, and Freddie Stewart takes cleanly, launches a massive kick back downfield. Huge return kick from Freddie Stewart. Gets it all the way back over halfway. And that is massive. It's a huge kick. Like Andy Good is saying, this is actually a fairly small pitch, but massive kick. 60-meter kick from Freddie Stewart there, if not slightly less. And Stormers get a scrappy line out here. Johan Rugby, yeah, they really have stopped playing the kind of rugby we've got used to the Stormers playing, and you can see it shows in the URC. So Devet has it at the back of this ruck, and will clear. Chesham trying to get a charge down there. The ball's gone quite high, not too far, and Bassett with a great take to get Leicester back the ball. Here's Wiese midfield. He's met in a double tackle because they basically have to at this point. Youngs. Oh, this is good from Leicester. They got a break on the side. Bassett. Oh, he should have let it go. And the ball's gone forwards out the hands in that tackle, and Bassett just can't gather. That is poor, I think, from Liebenberg, because he probably would have been in on goal there with Bassett. Why did he hold that? Yeah, that was weird. I don't know why he didn't let that ball go. Bassett would have probably streaked away from that. Um, what do we reckon, guys? 10-3 at the moment. What do we reckon the halftime score will be? Chuck it in the chat. Chuck it in the chat. Let's see who gets closest. Francois van Veek playing number 1 for the Leicester for Leicester. Played for Western Province. I like that comment from Bob Skinstad. He said that at the moment the English South Africans are better than the South Africans. So put into the scrum by Paul de Vet. Oh, and Leicester have got the shove here, but they do get the ball out, and it is Duplessis who drops it, but it goes back. So it's come back for the fly half, Matthew. And what an ask for a debut player to play against Leicester away from home in Europe, against Andre Pollard of all players. But he's showing some good skills so far. Stormers have it just outside their 22. DeVet is going to box kick again, and constantly being harassed by the locks of Leicester. Bassett decides to go, is caught by the big Stormers lock. So Stormers have made a little bit of ground here, but Pollard will kick over the top for Ollie Hassel-Collins to chase. Matthew takes it well. Mattia. Okay, his name's Mattia, apparently. So I'm going to try and remember Mattia. Stormers have lost a bit of ground here because of that kick, but they do now play for some territory. And Andre Pollard is back just outside his 22. He launches a bomb for Freddie Stewart to chase this time. And it's Duplessis managed to step him and get around Reffel. He's made his way up to halfway. Montoya tries to get over, but is ceremoniously dumped out of that ruck. Blomekes launches a kick over the top. He turns Hassel-Collins, but the ball, I believe, is out on the full. And so they will come back to the Stormers 10-meter line for a Leicester put in at the line out. Yeah, and I've got to agree with Andy Good there. Hanro Liebenberg has cost Leicester a potential try there with that selfish double pump and then knock on. Should have just passed it. So Leicester go to the front. Ben Youngs decides to dummy and go before offloading to Hanro Liebenberg. Montoya will clean up, and Ben Youngs is up on his feet to get the ball back. He passes to Pollard. Pollard offloads it to Jasper Wiese in the midfield. Now they're deciding to go left this time. The ball's gone loose, but they have regathered. Stewart trying to beat Namatraba on the outside. Or is that Morabe? I think it's Traba. And Ben Young's setting for a box kick. And does so. Ollie Hassel-Collins to chase on his bike. Not Cornels, it's Blomekes who takes that down well. The vet feeds Morabe, I think. Sorry, no, there's Morabe. The vet. Stormers just using their forwards here to try and get some a platform, but they are definitely going to kick here. And I think they are certainly not going to try their open, expansive attacking style game in the UK at the moment, probably because it's quite wet. Cotnos Gossan trying to challenge for the ball there, and he does force a knock on from Freddie Stewart. Freddie Stewart will be annoyed. That's two knock-ons he's had now when being challenged in the air. Stormers have actually had more carries than Leicester have, but Leicester have been more clinical with them. Leicester actually, but there we go. There's some meters made. 99 meters for Leicester, 30 for the Stormers. It's a big difference there. Qantas Gossan, 12 South African caps, but last capped by South Africa in 2017, so quite a while ago. And given the just sheer talent of the South African wingers at the moment, that seems to be the end of his South African international career as well. Technically, England could cap him soon. He's very good, but no, I don't see that happening either. Actually, no. Now that he's back at the Stormers, I don't think England can cap him. No, they can't. If he was still at Where was he? He was at Northampton for a while. Paul de Vet feeds the scrum. Solid scrum from both sides here. Not really either of them getting the ascendancy. Mattia kicked. Very good kick over deep into Leicester's 22. And that was that was Duplessis, my bad. But what a great kick there from him. Very good kick. And it's a 50-22. Oh, sorry, it's not 50-22, purely because the scrum was inside Leicester's half. So the ball was carried back over the halfway line. And that's the reason it's a Leicester ball, not a Stormers ball. So Montoya will look to make sure that he throws straight here and to his man so that they can dig their way out of 22. Youngs off to the Visa. Visa straight into Taba, who matches him quite well. He stopped them dead in their tracks. It was a double man tackle. And Ben Youngs will box kick here. Does so. 23 minutes gone. The ball doesn't go out, but Ben Loader gets man and ball. He does manage to offload it, though. And now Stormers are trying to get an attack going. De Vet feeds Morabe. Morabe really fighting to stay on his feet there. Brock Harris feeds Blommerkeys. Blommerkeys feeds and caught. Oh, that's a risky thing in the ruck from the Stormers player. Dangerous clean out, I'd say. But the ball's been stolen at the subsequent ruck, and Ben Youngs kicks it through. And he also makes the follow-up tackle. Stormers are just outside their own 22 now, and it's the fly half trying to get something going here. Leicester again challenging at that ruck. And Ben Young's driven backwards in the tackle, but does get the man down, and Stormers decide, right, we need to get some field position here. And Freddie Stewart is not doing too well with this competition the Stormers back three are giving him. That's 3 knock-ons off the kick receive from the England fullback, and very uncharacteristic from him. So I'd say one good thing the Stormers are doing is this kick chase, causing Freddie Stewart to just make a lot of errors. Colton Scorsan is certainly having fun making Freddie Stewart knock all these balls on. It's not an easy thing to do, so I'm certainly not going to bash Freddie Stewart for it. It's not easy to do, but that is 3 knock-ons, 4 handling errors from Leicester, and 3 of them have come from Freddie Stewart coming forwards to catch the high ball. Miminier lost some core players to Europe, especially in the set piece. No solid platform to attack from. You're not wrong there. And there is already going to be a change. And it is Leicester's number 4, Henderson, has made way. And I believe he's probably then been replaced by Harry Wells. And it is Harry Wells has come onto the field to replace Henderson. And I'm not sure if that's an injury-forced substitution or if it's just tactical. Harry Wells has won 1 England cap against Canada all the way back in 2021. Has not played since. I think I remember that game. I think England put Canada to the sword, but it was a really interesting game. So it's the Stormers put into the scrum off for the knock-on. They're finally getting back to it. And it will be De Vet to feed. And it's a better feed from him. It does actually get to the back of the scrum. The front rows go down, but they will continue the game. Scorsan gets the ball. They go blind, and he kicks forward. And it's another knock-on from Freddie Stewart. And it's another knock on from Freddie Stewart. Stormers will have another scrum, much closer to this Leicester line. Freddie Stewart having a very uncharacteristically bad game, at least his handling wise. Let's see. Shafiq Kamish, the Stormers team need to find some form. It's almost as though they're trying too hard. Hopefully, they can find the X factor that made them so good for the last few seasons. Yeah, and then also saying losing Keke leaves a big void. You're not wrong there. They aren't performing as well as we'd expect them to, especially considering their recent form. 1-2 MS, hi. But we'll see. I mean, most apart from the Bulls, and actually to be fair, the Lions are doing decently. But South African teams like the Sharks and Stormers are really struggling this season. Stormers get a huge shove on there, and they get the penalty at that what's it called, scrum. And Stormers are very close to the line now, using their big men to carry. Scossan with a great carry, and he went straight over Reffel. They're going to have to come back for the penalty, though, as the ball is dropped over the line by a Stormers player. And that scrum was much better from the Stormers. They drove straight through the Leicester pack. So Stormers decide to go for the line instead of potential 3 points. But they've got the line out on the 5 meter line. And they want to try and level the scores here. Not straight, though. The throw is not straight from Scar into Benny, and it's a very, very easy let off for Leicester. And Leicester will be very happy with that let off. They are 7 points to the good currently, and were under considerable pressure there, but Stormers letting them off very easily. A little over 10 minutes left in this first half, and Leicester looking to clear their lines here. Ben Youngs will feed the scrum, and it's a far more solid scrum from Leicester this time. Paul de Vet harassing Ben Youngs at the back of that scrum. Oh, and Jasper Wiese's dropped it cold, and he might be carried over the line here. No, Leicester have managed to get him back over the line. So it's but it is lost forwards, or is it? No, I think it was called a maul, and then it didn't come out. So after all that, Stormers have another opportunity. I don't even know how he did that. Was he trying to hold it too hard? But it just slipped out the back of his arm. And that's an uncharacteristic kind of mistake from someone like Jasper Wiese. I remember when he joined Leicester, he had a habit of being a bit hot-headed. He got player of the match last weekend against Newcastle. He had a habit of getting a couple of cards, and he's fortunately he's got rid of that in his game, which is very helpful for Leicester. But also it makes him more likely to actually feature consistently for South Africa. Tell you what, those Stormers have got a lion's share of the possession, 61% to Leicester's 39. So much more possession for Stormers, and that just shows you the shift from the first 10 minutes of the game. So Stormers getting ready to set the scrum. And you're originally from South Africa, but your accent and pronunciations of SA names are somewhat on point. Yeah, I lived in Pietermaritzburg for 14 years. The 10, I just keep forgetting his name because I've never seen him before. And in England, it would be Matthew, but it's what is it, Mathieu? Mattia, I think. So Morabe off the back, and he's over. He powers over. He is not held on to, and Stormers get their first try. So that potentially with the kick to come, that is that will be it is Keke Morabe, and it's his first try in the Champions Cup. Well, to be fair, it's Stormers' first try in the Champions Cup. The first time they're in it, isn't it? And that should bring scores level. Dale Edwards, how you doing, mate? I'll tell you what, you're definitely from South Africa if you use the word but. You're definitely. I do miss living in South Africa, I'm not gonna lie. So the number 10 for the Stormers, Mattia. I'm gonna just say his name is Mattia because I keep forgetting what it is. Knocks the conversion over on debut. He's doing pretty well, especially against Andre Pollard. And it was a great effort there from Morabe, and he actually powers over Andre Pollard to score. Leicester go very deep off the kick, straight to Duplessis, who launches a kick back downfield. Stewart doesn't try to take this one on the full, and he's going to run it back instead of kicking, which must feel a bit different. Mark Gombringer, what's up, man? Montosha attacking down the midfield. He is driven back in a dual tackle from the Stormers. Everyone was counting out. I don't know. They've been good in certain areas and awful in other areas. I don't think they're out of the game though. And Blommekeys off that high bomb takes it very well under a challenge from I think it was Reffel. No, it was Liebenberg. Stormers are now back on their own 22. They still have possession, but they cannot kick it straight out because they've taken the ball out. Well, they carried it back in, and now they've taken it back out again. So DeVet will look to box kick here. Every time, and Freddie Stewart is up to the challenge this time, rises well to take it on the Stormers 10-meter line. Andre Pollard with a cross kick to Hassel Collins, and it just dips on him, and he knocks it on. It just dips on him. Hassel Collins is like the only rugby player I think I've ever seen who paints his fingernails. He says that he just does it just to be different. A little bit longer, and that is a perfect cross kick. I mean, he wasn't running onto it, but not bad. I think he hit that, did Pollard? I do like Hassel Collins. I think he does have an England career ahead of him, but he just needs to perform when he gets the opportunity. So it'll be a scrum on the right-hand side of the field for the Stormers. 6 handling errors from Leicester, none from the Stormers. So the Stormers will be happy with that. We've got about 8.5 minutes left to play. Ben Youngs, Andre Pollard, and Bassett having a little chat between each other. What else you got for me, guys? Come on, drop it in the chat. Channel, what do we reckon the halftime score will be? So DeVet will be. I swear to God, every time I say his name, I think DeVet Barry. And now that's a name from a long time ago. But Paul DeVet will feed the scrum here once the referee gets out of the way. Scrum is set. And it's a penalty to the Stormers. And I believe it's for the other. So it's for it goes against Van Veek for collapsing. Francois Van Veek, a South African, another one. They're everywhere. They're like a plague. Although we love having them because they're really good. I tell you what, the kick off that penalty hasn't gone out, and Leicester then kick it back, and Blommekeys stepping. He's tackled well though by Montosha. They are over halfway. DeVet feeds the fly half Mattia. Mattia. Blommekeys running sideways before he feeds Ben Loader. Ben Loader bounces off of Andre Pollard, and then it's knocked on. Solomone Kata picks it up. He's running sideways at the moment, flings a wild pass to Hassel Collins, who I think gets a boot to it, and then the ball trickles out. They are kept warm for La Rochelle. Yeah, that's a big game. But I mean, you should not take Leicester lightly. Leicester have found some very good form recently. There's a very good pickup there from Solomone Kata. And the pass was a bit wild. Hassel Collins, yeah, he did. He intentionally kicked that off without even catching it. If he hit it a bit better, he might have actually had a good chase on it. Cigar into Benny, throws to the back to Morabe. Morabe inside to Kontal Skosan. And this is decent for the Stormers. They're getting some good phase play going, yeah? The vet to Mattia, who then feeds Engelbrecht, who bounces off one. De Vet using those big forward runners to soften the Leicester line before they get the more nimble feet involved. I'm quite looking forward to seeing Tinnison come on, because when I was watching him recently, he was really good. Oh, and then Namatraba makes some meters as he slips a tackle. There is a Leicester player down, and there's a knock on here from Stormers, and it'll be a scrum to Leicester with 6 minutes to play. Twisted VR6. And it's a really good carry there from Engelbrecht on Scott, and it's in that carry and that shrug off that he's done his shoulder. So I think we might see a change here, and I think Scott might be going off the way he was holding that shoulder. I've seen a lot of shoulder injuries today. There were a couple I saw when doing the sevens. There was I think a shoulder injury when I was watching the Lions. Mario Calcagni? Calcagni? Do you pronounce the G in that, Mario? Is it like a soft G in Italian? You're very happy with how it's going. It's the right team for it. Yeah, I'd say you're probably right. But you definitely don't want to underestimate a team like Leicester, which I don't think they are. But I'm actually bloody hell, Matt Scott's got big arms. Tigers backline is toothless. Eric, I'm not sure I agree with you. They're not getting it going very particularly well. But no G. Okay, no G. Cool. We're keeping Leicester at bay. Yeah, I think they need this. An injection in the centres might help here with Dan Kelly. But I think they're originally just looking to front up to the Stormers backline. Let's see. Mario, where's your comment? I can't even find you anymore. There it is. Calcani. Okay. No G. Well, it's good to chat to you guys while we do this. Twisted saying intercept try by Pollard. Not so sure about that. And we cropped 2 of them in the process. So Visa will look to pick this up off the back of the scrum. It is moving forwards. They do win the penalty. Oh, and they've got it out to Bassett, who's clear. Loader is chasing him down, though. Tries to offload it back, and they will come back for the penalty. The pronunciation was close, actually. Nice. So what am I getting wrong then? Calcani? Cagni? Don't know. My Italian girlfriend would absolutely kill me for saying it wrong. And it looks like Josh Bassett's gone down now. God, Leicester seem to be getting a lot of injuries here. Good tackle from behind there from Ben Loader. Oh, and yeah, I think this is a must-win game for both teams. I mean, it's Champions Cup, so yes. No, the ball has gone out. It's in the ballpark. Fair enough. If you really are interested, you can spell it out phonetically on the chat. They're waiting for they stopped them taking the ball quickly at that line out because there's an injury to a Leicester player, and it's Josh Bassett, who I think in that tackle from Ben Loader from behind got his foot trapped. So it's probably an ankle injury. Yeah, it's his ankle. So they are getting out the strapping and strapping that up nice and tight. And that's a lot of strapping. I've never I've never strapped my ankle like that, but I've had I've had to almost strap my knee for the last 8 years now. Galkani. Think Afrikaans. Galkani. Wait. So you're okay. So you're in. So what? Are you a South African Italian? Is that what you're telling me you are? Galkani. All right. So Leicester do take their line up finally, and they are forced into touch. Although I think there's a penalty for Leicester, and I'm not sure what it was for. I think it was sacking them all. So Pollard will look to go to the corner here, um, and does so. They're about 10 meters out now, with just under 4 minutes to play. Leicester with a very good attacking opportunity. Make us a half a portion. Larshell in Europe is European winners, even with the home disadvantage or home advantage, will be difficult to win. I agree. I don't know if they're as good as they were last season, but it certainly will be a difficult game. And La Rochelle's strange. It feels like they came from nowhere and then they suddenly started winning everything in France. And I love their kit as well. It's really nice and yellow. So Leicester go to the front and they set the maul. It's going back at the moment. Young's is controlling at the back with Montoya. They do then get the ball out. He releases Solomone Kata, and it's a decent tackle there from the young number 10. This game has really been playing at a rate of knots now. Hassel Collins hanging right out on that wing, waiting for a long pass. Home disadvantage. Visa got absolutely belted there. Youngs to Kata. Kata takes on the line. He's not really, it's pretty much a standing start, although he does manage to keep his feet quite well. Youngs to Kelly. Kelly tackled well by the Stormers fly half. He's acquitting himself well as this man on debut. Here's Chesham. Less than almost 2 minutes left to play. Leicester still on attack, trying to get into the 22 now. Kata goes straight through Skosan, but does get brought to ground. And then it is Liebenberg who drops it cold. And it'll be a scrum to the Stormers with less than 2 minutes to play in this first half. I think home disadvantage might be spot on. Well, I mean, considering how South Africa got the Blitzbox got absolutely destroyed by Australia in Cape Town this morning, you might be right. And Liebenberg is not too happy with himself there for dropping that ball. Oh yeah, 69 people watching. 69? You can tell I'm an incredibly strange host. Minute and a half left to play. Stormers have to put into the scrum. I don't think they'll try anything fancy here. I think they'll be happy to go into the halftime sheds. 10 points all. I still want Tinnison to come on. Yeah, Eric. I'm starting to see what you mean. They're just trying to bolt. They're trying to use size only, and they're not getting it enough to Hassel Collins or Bassett to use that kind of agility. I just really hope my cousin gets on. Um, my cousin tends to get on around 70 minutes into the game. The reserve 9, Tom Whiteley. So the Stormers are trying to run it out here through a big carry from Duplessis, and then it's a carry from Engelbrecht. I think it's only one Stormers debut. There's fly half, but it's certainly not their first string side. And there's a knock on here from the Stormers with a minute to play. Leicester will have the scrum just inside their own half. Brock Harris sucking in the big ones as he, what is he, like 39 years young? Legend. I mean, I think he was a few years into his career when I was at high school, which shows how long he's been around. Leicester certainly need to sort out their handling errors and become a bit more dangerous on attack if they're going to score some tries against this Stormers outfit. But then again, so do the Stormers if they want to score some decent tries. They do have the players to do it. Their backline can be exciting. Ben Loader's quality. Ben Youngs kind of just leaves it, and then it's kicked forwards by DeVet, who gets there first. And he offloads it to Scossan, who puts the ball down and totally against the run of play just before halftime. An opportunistic try for the Stormers. And DeVet showing heaps of pace there from the mistake from Ben Youngs. And that's Courtland Scossan's third try in a championship cup career. I think the first two of those coming from in Northampton shirt though. Yeah, Ben Youngs made an absolute hash of that. And DeVet showing huge pace to beat Hassel Collins to the ball and offloading it off the floor to Scossan, who is hanging on his side. Oh, and actually, to be fair to Ben Youngs, it was actually Visa's foot coming across that actually moved the ball away from his hands. Here we go, Stormers. Here we go. Yeah, that was a very, very good opportunistic try there. DeVet did really well, and he certainly made amends for his horror quick tap off the mark. And here's Jerry Mattia, and that makes it 17 points to 10 at half time. So from being 10 points to 3 down, Stormers score two tries back, and they go into the shed 7 points to the good. So an interesting first half here. I would say not a hell of a lot happened. Um, how many times has youngsters passed to Pollard? To be fair, Pollard is passing. Sorry, Youngs is passing. He's not kicking as much as we're used to with England, but uh, they're using a lot of strike runners rather than just straight to Pollard all the time. But that is the first half, guys. Um, Great to have you guys kind of with me for the first half. We will be back in about 10 minutes for the second half. All to play for still, and Leicester will be looking to strike early in the second half to get themselves back into the game. Nice to chat to you guys. I'll see you in 10 minutes.
Joined by former World Cup winner, as well as former Blitzbok player and sevens player, Bobby Skinstad, who dabbled in a bit of everything whilst he was playing. First of all, thank you so much for giving us your time. Sevens versus 15s. It's, for the layman, it's the same game, and yet it's so different. Can you just give us a bit of an overview? What's it like running out for a sevens team versus a 15s team, and how difficult is it to adapt?
Sure. Look, it's great to be back and nice to chat. Steve, I think sevens is a game that's evolved so quickly. It's a fantastic game to hone your skills if you're an attacking player. And in particular, we looked at the Rugby World Cup final. Kwagga Smith, was a sevens player for a number of years before he moved across. All three of the outside backs in that Springbok team were sevens specialists before they moved across. Currie was unstoppable as a sevens finishing winger. And I think you got to understand that the game is for the slightly faster, more sort of jackal and tackle and turnover and run kind of players. So you get a lot more of the backs and the loose forwards playing than you would just the pure tight forwards. There's a couple of tight forwards who've played, and Tom Smith, the British and Irish Lions prop, was a famous exponent of sevens, and played for the Scottish national team actually. We've lost him, and may he rest in peace. But he was one of the finest sevens players I've ever seen. He was super fast. He was a prop, but he was built like a sort of a Kwagga Smith, like a strong player. So, I think the important thing to remember is that sevens is seven fast guys. Just three of them in the scrum, the rest are in the backs. And you've got teams like Canada and Great Britain, Ireland, who might not necessarily be out there challenging at a 15s Rugby World Cup, but could knock you over in the blink of an eye in seven. So it's a really exciting clash. We also see a lot of the Polynesian countries dominating. Fiji have been incredible at sevens. They've got two, Olympic gold medals. Samoa, and I even played a test match, a sevens match against Cook Islands. So because there's less players, there's less need for the set pieces that you have in 15s. It's a fantastic open game, and I've said this before. I think I said to you guys last week, it's a really hard game to predict. So I love watching it, and I love the excitement. I think what we see now, especially with HSBC putting in time and effort into the sponsorship, is it's going to get better and better, and it'll become a representative game for a long, long time at Olympics and Commonwealth Games.
Okay, and then in a few words, what was your favorite part of playing sevens when you played?
Well, you got to remember, I played sevens when I was 20 years old till about 23, and we'd only just got started in touring and playing in these tournaments around the world. So the best part for me was touring. I mean, I went to Dubai, to England, Ireland, to Australia, to New Zealand, and played in these incredible tournaments. Saw the world, met friends, played against great players, because there was still a crossover of a lot of players. I mean, we had Andre Venter, Rassie Erasmus, Joost van der Westhuizen, Brayton Paulse, and myself, Peter Rousseau, all playing in the Andre Snyman, all playing in the sevens team that went to Hong Kong, and that year we'd all played in the Springboks team. So we had a bit of crossover of both. The favorite part was definitely touring and seeing the world.
All right, and we are back for the second half of this game between Leicester and the Storm Hers. Stormers getting a very, very late try in that second half, very opportunistic try. But they now, due to that try, lead Leicester 17 points to 10. I would say that neither of them have really broken the game open, but they're not playing badly, either team, but they're not playing particularly well either. It's been a bit of a cagey first half, shall we say? And as Yuri says, cats among the pigeons now. I say as I've got a vibrating cat sitting on my lap. Yeah. So Leicester will restart the game for us. Now kicking right to left. They go very deep, all the way to Duplessis, who is, I think Duplessis can play 10, can't he? He's taking up a lot of the return kick responsibilities. Probably trying to take a little bit of pressure off of Jury Mathy or Mattia. Decent exit. Brings play just inside their own 10-meter line. Julian Montosha. Go to the front, and Liebenberg right side. Youngs out to Pollard. Pollard in the midfield to Visa. And it's happened again. Oh, no, there's a penalty there for Hansen. And it looks like, Leicester will, a minute into the second half, why not take the 3 points on offer? Good call, that. Don't blame them. It's an easy 3 for Hondre. Old Hendry. $88 people watching. Commentators just having a chat with the coaches of Leicester, saying, you haven't really got your game plan out. And they're like, yeah, we missed a 2-on-1 and haven't really got going. Pollard, easy as you like, straight down the middle, and a minute and a half into this second half closes the gap to 4 points. Blomakis gets the restart, and it's fielded quite well by Dan Kelly. He had to turn for that. Yeah, that's why Dan Kelly's on the field. Matt Scott took a stinger about 30 minutes into that first half. Ben Young's looking to set the box kick here for Bassett to chase. Come down for Clayton Blomakis, who sells a huge dummy and then makes a couple of meters. They're now going to go back to the forwards. The locking pair running quite well together there. What is prize money for the winner of... I'm actually not sure, but it'll be decent. It's quite a lot. Solomone Kata making an absolute nuisance of himself at that ruck. Surprised he didn't get penalised for that. The young flyer of Matthew launches a ball, but it's too deep. It's into the 22, and Freddie Stewart, making no mistake with this one, calling the mark. 1-2 MS. I tell you what, I'm going to Google that for you because I want to know. Prize money for... So the problem is the commentary is going to... Okay, so Ben Youngs takes it off the kickoff back to his... and then he launches his own kick downfield. The Stormers 10 is there, fields it, and launches his own kick back. This is deep in the 22. Freddie Stewart is there, and he's going to try to get this off the park, I'd imagine. And doesn't, or no, Matthew's done really well there, but he is swamped by Leicester players, and it's come back on Leicester's side. Montoya quickly passed off by Hassel-Collins. A kick put through for Bassett to chase. Blomekes is back there, and he gets the kick away. And after a rather bit of tennis, the ball is off the park. Champions Cup Rugby. And so, how much money will Leinster or Saracens get for winter? This is like in 2019. Okay, so in 2018, Leinster took home £518,000. So I can imagine it's gone up since then. So Stormers have the ball back now. Loader is working well for the Stormers today. And this time, DeVet is going to box kick instead of trying to take a run. Stewart catches, and he's ankle tapped very well by the onrushing Stormers in Engelbrecht. And so that Leicester have to reset now. Leicester doing well to protect their ball. Montoya, met by Skara. Tibany. Skara just never had enough really to make it into the the box consistently. I think he played a couple of games for them. So the ball does go out. Courtney Scossan starting to lose his number 4 on his jersey. And it's a Stormers line out. Already 6 minutes into this second half. Good steal at the line out from Leicester. Youngs quickly fires it away, and they are. Kata takes on the line, gets off, great offload. It's out to Bassett. Bassett cutting back in field. There's definitely a tackle off the ball there, but the referee hasn't seen it. And this is good continuity here from Leicester. Van Veek has got a good trundle up there. Good quick hands here. Oh, it's gone to ground. Oh, this is really, really good from Leicester. And it's Hassel-Collins gets a good pass away, and Simeone Kata gets in for a second. And that is Leicester well and truly back in the competition now, taking the lead, 18 points to 17, with a kick to come, and it is Solomone Kata's second try of the game. That isn't much, though. Well, that was back in 2018, so I imagine it's probably more like the 600, 700 mark, especially with the new teams coming in and everything like that. Don't forget, South Africa hadn't joined it at that point, so it might be more. And if it's that much in pounds, if a South African team wins it, that's a huge amount of money. Less so for the Brit teams, but still quite a lot. $500,000. I mean, come on. Hassel-Collins did really well here to ride the tackle of step through the tackle of Blomekes, ride the tackle of Traba, and get the ball away to Solomone Kata. Pollard with a kick out wide. And Pollard gets it. 19 plays 17, 8 minutes into this second half. 94 of you in the stream now. Welcome, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Check out our sponsors in BOYLESPORTS and BITDEFENDER, and drop some chat in the chat. And I will, get to you guys, have a chat with you, and answer your questions. And that is a brilliant try off the back of a stolen line out and JJ Kotz is now on the field, and Tibany has been replaced. First front row replacement on then for the Stormers. 9 minutes in this first half, and Leicester have scored 10 unanswered points at the moment. So a very good start to the second half from Leicester. And Youngs will clear. And the ball does go out, just inside their own 10-meter line. Dan McKellar will be happy with that comeback early in this second half. But he will definitely want Leicester to keep up this this not only possession, but also pressure. So Stormers do win this line out by going to the front. Devet feeds Duplessis in the middle. Shake a tree at all these double barrel names. Making good ground, but then lost forward. Dan Cole dives on it. You couldn't tell if that was his head or the ball. They decide to change direction. Freddie Stewart stepping through one tackle, breaking another. Ben Youngs will feed Jasper Visa. He's only knows one way, and that's forwards. He's broken one tackle, and then he's through. Brought down eventually. Youngs feeds Bassett. Antosha protecting him. Youngs back to Visa again. And now Youngs will look to take the box kick. And it's still fairly, you can still see a lot of England style play here. The Borthwick effect, shall we call it? Oh, and there's a challenge for the ball, but it's knocked on at the and then there's a high tackle for nothing too hectic, and the players shake hands, but just a loose high arm there from Solomone Kata on Clayton Blomeke. So Mattia will clear the line. Mati, okay. So his name's Mati. Yuri Mati. And so subs coming onto the field now, both props for Leicester being replaced. And also, who's that? Who's number 20? Who's number 20 for Stormers? Junior Pokomela is making his way onto the field. Dan Cole is off, and Van Veek will be off as well. I don't know just yet who Junior Pokomela is replacing. Wait. Cole Hayes is on. Sorry, Joe Hayes is on, along with James Cronin. Morabe gets the ball off the back of the line out, puts it back in field to Ben Loader. Ben Loader doing really well here. He's made his way a good 20 meters upfield. It's so Pokomela replaced Taba. Leicester with a great counter ruck here. Have they managed to turn it over? I think no, they haven't. Stormers have managed to keep it. Picked up at the back of that ruck by Engelbrecht. Devet out the back to Mati. And he's got a drop goal on debut. Scores a level again. Oh, you see, this is my problem with commentators who actually do the game. I mean, Bob Skinstad says it one way. The English guy says it another way. So I'm probably not going to trust him because it's an Afrikaans name. So Mati. And it's a great drop goal to level the scores. Very Andre Pollard-esque of the very young fly half for the Stormers, and he's doing well. So Stormers receive the kickoff and making ground, but then not releasing and crawling on the floor. So Leicester will get a penalty and could potentially steal that 3 points straight back. And it's Duplessis who is penalised there for not releasing the ball after being tackled. Nope, they're going to go for the corner. Pollard goes for the corner. Takes play about 10 meters out from the Stormers line. I do pity the person who put bet on South Africa to win Cape Town Sevens. So Montosha throws to the front. It's Liebenberg who rises high to get it, and then there's a total mess at that line out, and Leicester give away the penalty. and it's Jasper Wiese who came around the front. It's a recent rule that's being penalised quite a lot because I never used to see it. And Mattia, Matty. God, I can't believe it's so hard to remember that guy's bloody name. Um, Clears a decent clearance here from him, and brings play, I think, up to about the 10-meter line. Upper gear, Stormers. Oh, it's up to halfway. Stormers. Matty decides to kick downfield for his backline to chase. Stewart is up to the challenge, takes it well. But then there's a penalty for Ben Loader being offside at the kick, so in the kick chase. And that's a let off for Leicester there. They were under a bit of pressure. And this is kickable. Ben Loader, 18 tries and 57 Premiership games for London Irish. Tell you what, Leicester don't want to go for that penalty. They really want to get this try. And Andre Pollard has missed touch. And Matty returns the kick. Bassett takes it, that swings it inside to Stewart. Stewart inside to Andre Pollard, who takes on the line. Youngs to Visa. Visa straight into his to the men watching him. He only knows one way, does the big South African number 8. 20 points all with just under 25 minutes left to play. Duplessis can't take this one, and Leicester have got it. Playing knock-on advantage as well. There's a good counter ruck there from the Stormers, but it will be a scrum to Leicester. And there was an unfortunate knock-on there from the Stormers. I tell you what, though, Brock Harris is putting in a shift. Leicester need to win this because they've got an incredibly hard pull. Well, and that's why the Stormers need to win it. I see what you mean by it's a must-win game for both sides. It really kind of is. The Champions Cup is not for the faint of heart, that's for sure. It's kind of like a World Cup in a way, but for clubs. The Club World Cup of Europe and South Africa. So Leicester, Ben Youngs and Leicester got a good shove on this scrum. They do win the penalty, but they're going to use the ball. Josh Bassett in field. Ben Youngs out. They're almost up to the 22 now. Youngs over the top to Stewart, who can't take it, and Hassel Collins is brought to the floor by Clayton Blomekes. He's managed to stay in just, but they'll come back for the penalty. Oh, come on, you've got to take the 3 now. These are adding up. Rafael's having a good game. Visa is having a good game when he's not knocking it on. But he's making meters. He's abrasive, certainly impacting that defensive line. Is Pollard going to go for poles here? Let's have a look here. Let's have a look. What is the decision? Jack Van Poortvliet, the rehabbing England scrum half, is the water boy. And Pollard will finally take a shot at goal. And Leicester will look to take the lead here. Eric Davidson, upper gear for Stormers. Yeah, you're not wrong. And Leicester do take the lead, 23 points to 20. And that's 13 unanswered points in this second half for Leicester. Stormers yet to get on the score sheet in the second half. And I think there are some more changes. Sitole has gone off, and Brock Harris is off from Mazibuko. And Unger has come on as well, so Devet has gone off. Clayton Blommakeys receives the kick, and he stepped it through one tackle, and then it's hit quite high by Liebenberg there. But there's no penalty. Stormers do still have it, and then they lose it in the contact. The Leicester will have the scrum in just inside their own half. Brock Harris did play for South Africa at age grade level many moons ago. You think referee? No, I mean, I think the penalties that have been given away, I think, are fair. I think the referee's been decent. Brock Harris has had a good game though, as he usually does. He's solid. Sorry, I said 200. His 402nd senior game of rugby for Brock Harris. That's insane. The scrum does go down, and it'll be reset. And Brock Harris is 39 years old. It's crazy to think he's been on the rugby scene for like 20-something years now. Because he played age grade level for South Africa. He's essentially been playing professional rugby since I was 10 years old. Bloody hell. Oh, that's a long time. And Stormers win a penalty at the scrum. And it's Joe Hayes who's penalised. Just come onto the field. Got to admit, it's England's biggest problem area, the front row. Although I think Theo Dan is great, and I think he's a great replacement for Jamie George. He's abrasive, he's strong, but we're lacking a few props that I'd be like, yeah, they're amazing. And it will be Matty to take the penalty. The Stormers are looking at levelling the score again. He's got 100% in it today, 3 out of 3. And this will be the first points for the Stormers in this half. They'll be happy with that. So, Matty lining that kick up. And it's through. It's over. 23 points all. Once again, we are level. We are level again. And this is showing just how contested this Champions Cup is and will be. We've got a fascinating game next coming up with Harlequins and Racing 92. So definitely go watch that after. On our channel, of course. Freddie Stewart running it back at the Stormers off that clearance kick. Into the final quarter, and we are all locked up. 2 tries apiece, 23 all. Leicester now just outside Stormers 10. Oh, and Matty cannot take it off the kick, but it does go backwards, and so the Stormers can regather. Stormers box kick through Ungara. And once again, Freddie Stewart takes it and runs it back, although he only makes a couple of meters before he's met by the forwards. Visa is met strongly in a double tackle and is bent over backwards. That looked painful. Ben Youngs with a box kick. And it's Matthew underneath it. He takes it well. Bassett chases and puts him down. And Blommakeys is charged down. Oh, and Chesham cannot gather it and knocks it on. But Stormers were under a huge amount of pressure there off that charge down. Oh, and Jasper Visa might be injured in that tackle I was talking about. Theodan was good when he came on yesterday. He looked very explosive against the Bulls. And I personally think he got shafted at the World Cup. I think he should have played a lot more. Yeah, I think the hit on no, there is head contact there. There might be a yellow card here. Ron Mulligan, Pollard's not really in this guy. This kind of game doesn't really suit him. I tell you what, both of the Stormers players hit his head with their arms, so there could be a double yellow card here. Yeah, there's a double head contact. This will be interesting. I've never seen this kind of situation where both players have hit the player with the head, shoulder to head. There's not that much danger in it, but could be a double yellow card here for both. Well, one card for each player. This is interesting. Only one of the players is going to get a yellow card, and it is the prop, Mazabuka, who's just come on, and it's a penalty to Leicester. That's a big blow for the Stormers. It's going to force them to make some changes when there's another scrum. If they might have to do it now if Leicester go choose the scrum, and why wouldn't you? But in that situation, I don't know why it's not a double yellow card. Both players hit his head with their shoulders. That is true. It's one of the problems with rugby at the moment is when there's head contact, if there's a yellow card, the player that got hit in the head should have to go off for an HIA, but they're not forced at this point, and I think that's wrong. Youngs is too slow to give him anything decent. It's not Leicester's game style either. I'm hoping my cousin will get on soon and he will speed up the game. He seems to score fairly often when he comes off the bench, so we'll find out. Leicester go to the front of the line out off the subsequent off that penalty. Montoya supported and protected by Kata and Raffle. Leicester making some ground here. Youngs decides to go right, and his forward just immediately goes to ground when hit by the tackle. Visa out to Liebenberg. Young slips on and there's Youngs dinks over the top. Oh, and Dan Kelly's got it. He's 5 meters out. He's tackled though, but Leicester do critically have the ball. Visa offloads it and well taken. Pollard is over in the corner. Pollard is away and about 10 meters in from the corner, Pollard goes over. And that kick from Ben Youngs was brilliant. There are a couple of players who look like they may be injured off where that kick bounced, because there was a huge contest for it. I think it's Ben Loader who's maybe down. It was penalty advantage anyway. Very good hands there from the Wells. Albert, never mind. Really good hands there from Wells, basically balancing it on his hip and his hand. Yeah, give him the ball. You're not wrong, Ron. Then again, all he had to do was run it in. I mean, he didn't do particularly much. Ben Young's kick was brilliant. Pollard does convert the try, and that is 30 points to 23. We've got 14 minutes left in this game, and we're in for a pretty good end to this match. That was brilliantly controlled there from Wells. Stormers will only be back to a full team with 6.5 minutes left in the game. That's going to be a telling factor in this game. Visa has been replaced by Hatherall. It looks like Jesper Visa actually is going for an HIA. And then Smith is being replaced. Oh, sorry, Smith is on the field for the Stormers, replacing Hartzenberg. So Stormers do have a line-out throw. I think about on the 10-meter, on Leicester's 10-meter line. But there's a couple players for Leicester down at the moment. I think it's one of the reverse props. Oh, trust me, Albert, it's chilly over here in the UK. It's chilly, it's wet. Tell you what, Freddie Stewart looking a little uncomfortable, but not too bad. This is a scrum off. Stormers rise high. They're on the 10-meter line, and they're trying to set a maul here. It's not moving at the moment, and they're going to have Unger is going to have to use it, and he decides to box kick. It's a contestable one. Bassett doesn't even rise, but he does catch it, almost under contention there. But he calls the mark. It's interesting that he didn't jump for it though. I think he thought he had more time to take the ball than he did. Bassett kicks downfield, gets a decent touch finder, but Stormers can take it quickly. Here's Matty. And Freddie Stewart's under it. He evades one tackle, but is tripped. Sorry, Smith is on for Duplessis. And Stewart had run it out of the 22, so it can't be kicked out on the full, but Stormers managed to steal it in that tackle. Unger. Stormers up to the 22. And then Leicester give away a penalty, and I think it's Wells. Yeah. No, sorry, it was Liebenberg. Wells was actually all right. Now, do Stormers go for the poles? Yep, they have to. So there's a new rule which I didn't know about. Is if the kicking tee is brought onto the field, even if you don't know about it, you then have to take the kick. Even if you didn't make that decision, if the kicking tee is on the pitch, you then have to take the kick, which is interesting. I found that out watching the Lions today against Perpignan. So Matty is going to kick, and he's been playing. He's had a very good debut as this player from the Stormers, and he narrows the deficit to a 4-point ball game. And the Stormers are within 4 now, with just over 10 minutes to play. I see how people jumping in now, seeing the score with 10 minutes to go. 156 of you. Welcome if you're just joining now. Do like the stream. Do subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Consider joining our membership. Officials seem to want waistline tackles only. Well, everything is seeming to drop recently. They're, especially at schoolboy rugby in South Africa, they're dropping it below the sternum now. So Leicester kick off, and the Stormers have it deep in their 22. They're going to look to set a good platform here for Ungara to box kick. He does launch the box kick, and Stewart is under it yet again. He's been far more stable in this second half, but he's had less challenges in the air. Youngs. Oh, good hands there from I can't remember his name. Heatherall, I think. It's a fun stream today. Youngs launches another box kick, goes much higher than getting much distance, but it's not bad. It's contestable. Unfortunately, it's been knocked on by Liebenberg. DSTV not working. What else is new? DSTV, as soon as a cloud appears in the sky, yeah, but no, there's a storm near you. So Storm's kick long. Freddie Stewart gathers and then launches the return kick. Blomicky's underneath it. He returns the kick. Much better angle on that kick, but it's too far. It won't roll dead. And I'm okay, fair. Pollard picks it up and decides to kick downfield instead of dotting it down and opting for the 22-meter dropout. And it's a great kick from Pollard. We're into the final 10 minutes here. Really good return kick there. Brings play to up to halfway. And the game is not dead yet, guys. 4 points in it with 9 minutes left to play. 2.5 minutes left on the Stormers' yellow card. So I think they've actually managed this yellow card period quite well. Tell you what, though, that ball on a harder, like 4G pitch would have gone dead easily, but it's sat down in that mud. Well, not mud, but it's on the soft turf. Stormers win it at the front. It's sloppy. Oh, and Joe Hayes hacks it forward and then picks it up. And that's something new from Joe Hayes. But they will be coming back. I think there was a knock on. Joe Hayes, that's probably the most skillful thing I've ever seen him do. There's a knock on at the line out, that's why. Joe Hayes just swinging his foot at it, and it bounces straight onto a Stormer's foot and up straight into his mitts. And then he powers over Cornel Scossan, but he does get brought to ground. But it doesn't matter, they're coming back for the knock on at the line out, I think. Yeah, Joe Hayes has got big legs. That are a big human. Hey, look. I was about to say Brock Lesnar. Brock Harris is back on the field. And Stormers looking to make some extra changes here as well. And I believe Marcel... No. Who's that guy then? So Hartzenberg might be coming back on. Brock Harris is back on the field. Yeah. Oh, Hartzenberg has been replaced by Brock Harris. That makes sense. Tell you what, Stormers have done well to avoid a scrum until now. Good run there from the number 23. Stormers up over halfway. Ungara tries a kick through, goes literally nowhere because it's charged down, I suppose, by Leicester. But Stormers have managed to get it back. And there's 7.5 minutes left to play. Stormers not letting this game die, and good on them. They're going to box kick through Ungara. It's a deep kick, and I don't see why. Hassel-Collins is under it, going to set the mark. Why kick that deep? You trying to force an error? It's very... Yeah. That kick's not ideal. I would have tried a cross kick or something. Something different. So Hassel-Collins will have the clearance kick. And he gets his kick all the way up to, I'd say, just before halfway. So a decent clearance there from Hassel-Collins. And we're into the, well, not into the last 5 minutes just yet. Not far off it, though. Yellow card's got 3 seconds left on it. So the yellow card is now over, and they'll be able to return. Oh, yeah. Okay, so there's been a change. Ben Youngs is off. Tom Whiteley is on. Good. Glad to see my cousin getting some game time. He's keeping Joe Powell out of the team, so I'll take that. So Whiteley has it at the base, and he will launch his box kick. Goes very high, but decent distance on it as well. Scossan rises high and takes it well. Tiernason is on as well, so I think all changes have now been made by both teams. Ungara has it at the base. He launches his own box kick. And again, it's long, and I think Freddie Stewart will just... Oh, Freddie Stewart has knocked it on. Freddie Stewart has knocked it on. Yeah, my cousin. So Tom Whiteley, the number 21 for Leicester. He's my second cousin. And I tell you what, that could be a very costly mistake there from Freddie Stewart. So what was a pretty poor kick has turned into quite a positive for the Stormers. Yeah, Freddie Stewart, lol. And here we go. This will be a tense last 5 minutes here for for both teams really. Needs to be 14 handling errors from Leicester. Oh, and I think Unger might have. Oh no, Unger. No, there's a penalty. Stormers win a penalty, and I think they'll probably set a line out here and try and driving maul. If Stormers win, it'd be so funny. 5 scrum penalties conceded by Leicester, and 1 to the Stormers. And the Stormers have chosen to go for another scrum. 4.5 minutes left in this game. That's an interesting call. They do have the Leicester scrum under pressure, but would a rolling maul been a line-out drive been better? Interesting decision. There's 4 points in the La Rochelle game too. Oh, let me check that out. Okay, so Montpellier have beaten Newcastle by 5 points. Let's have a look. Yeah, Leinster 4 points ahead. And this penalty goes towards Leicester. They get the penalty at the scrum, and that is a big, big call. That's a big call. I think actually the only sub that's not on is Leicester's reserve hooker. So Leicester will use that penalty to clear their lines and look to see out the rest of this game. Pollard clears. Yeah, I think that was the wrong call from the Stormers. They should have gone for the line-out drive. Yeah. For the sake of the investors, they can't allow Stormers to win. I mean, it was definitely a penalty there. Montoya, 3 minutes left. Okay, clock's doing something funny, but it's about 3 minutes left in the game. The actual stream of the game, the clock was stuck at. It went back like 4 minutes and got stuck. Right, so they go to Leicester go to the front. Montoya then gets it back. I'd argue that didn't go 5, but sure. Whiteley will feed his big forwards. Less than 3 minutes left in this game now. Just need to control it. I think Whiteley's setting a box kick here. And he does. Launches a high box kick. They need to try and win possession back. And they have got possession back through Chesham. Whiteley, they're going to go blind. Cronin. Whiteley again will feed Reffel. They're just eating up some time here, making their way upfield slowly. Whiteley, I think, might try a kick here. Contestable kick, not a bad idea. He launches fairly high, but he's done well to keep it outside the 22. Matty rises high and gathers it. Oh, and these dives, that's a good challenge at the ruck there. Hatherall smokes the player at the back of the ruck. Blomakis clears. Oh, God, that was a bad ball slip, wasn't it? Stewart makes sure he catches this one, and he launches a kick downfield. It's not into the 22, so he cannot mark it. And he's outside. And the kick from the Stormers, from Blomakis has gone too long. They will come all the way back to where he kicked it. And with less than a minute and a half to play, with possession in Leicester's hands, that could be the game. Let's see. I want to also keep an eye on the La Rochelle game. So it's just one scrum left. Can Stormers do something here? Can they get a penalty? Can they get the ball back? Less than a minute left. They need to get this scrum complete immediately. They don't want any resets that will take the ball, that will take time away from them. Freddie Stewart has finally been substituted, and so who's on for him then? I think it's Jamie Shilcock. I think Jamie Shilcock has joined the play. Who's the Leicester coach? I can't remember his name. I saw him earlier. Full time, and Leinster have beaten La Rochelle 16 points to 9. Now that's an interesting game. Interesting score. Yeah, someone's doing some really weird stuff with the clock. It's now got 9 seconds on the clock. Just 9 seconds, as if the game has just started. So interesting. 201 people. We hit 200. Welcome, guys. Like and subscribe. Check out our sponsors in BitDefender and BOYLESPORTS. We're about to finish this game. There's 20 seconds left on the clock. Leicester are winning by 4 points. They do have a scrum to see out this game. Whiteley will feed the scrum. He does. Leicester do have control of it at the back. And they win the penalty. And that will be the ball game for Leicester. Now, the question is, do they go for poles or do they just get rid of it? Going for poles would give them 3 points extra on the. I think they will go for poles. Yeah, I think they'll go for poles. No, they're going for the line out. That's risky. They're trying to take away the bonus point from the Stormers. And they want the bonus point themselves. Interesting. So they're looking to take away the bonus point from the Stormers and get an extra point themselves, which essentially means they get an extra 2 points because taking a point from another team is just as good. They go to the front. They set the maul. Montoya is at the back. He hasn't got his hands on it just yet. The maul is creeping sideways. Then it's going forwards. It goes to ground. There's a penalty advantage. Whiteley feeds Pollard. And they've gone wide here. And it's going to be a try for Bassett. Bassett goes in the corner. That is a try, bonus point for Leicester. And they steal the bonus point from the Stormers. And what a finish there from Bassett and from Leicester. Brilliant, brilliant play. And the Stormers have lost their bonus point. It's a long way to go to come away with nothing. It was a very good pass there from the back line. And Bassett doing really well to go from a stop-start to get to the try line. Great pass from Shilcock under pressure. On the money. Brilliant from Leicester. Shilcock did so well to get that ball away. Tell you what. And Josh Bassett, who's been playing well all game with that strapped ankle, does get over. And what a heartbreaking way to lose your bonus point as well. Andre Pollard with the final say of the match. He's whipped it. No, he's not going to get that one. And the game will end 35 points to 26 in Leicester's favour. Pretty good game. I think the Stormers were probably the kind of their fly-off on debut was brilliant. I think I'd say he was arguably their best player, but they did shoot themselves in the foot a few times, and not going for that line-out maul to take the lead if they'd scored was, I think, their biggest error. Your lineouts were a bit of a mess up though, but I think it would have been worth going for it instead of the scrum. So full-time score, 35 points to 26. A full bag of 5 points for Leicester. Stormers, in the dying minutes of extra time, lose their bonus point. And that is a very ideal start for Leicester. And couldn't really be worse for the Stormers. A long way to travel with no points out of it. That's not a good start to their Champions Cup challenge, shall we say? But thank you so much for joining me, guys. It's been great chatting to some of you in the chat, and I will see you next weekend. Have a great end to your Sunday. Take a look at the Harlequins and Racing 92 game coming up soon. I'm pretty sure we're streaming that as well. And I will see you soon. Have a good one, guys.